Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, taking a look at the next Focke-Wulf in the Focke-Wulf 190 grind. That is an interesting sound my plane is making. The Focke-Wulf 190 A-5. This is going to be your Tier 6 aircraft, and this airframe sports an interesting complement of air-to-ground ordnance in addition to carrying a little bit more of a robust gun armament compared to its predecessors coming from the stock side of things. In fact, this aircraft has essentially swapped out from having the starting weapons that you had with the A1, which was four 7.92 machine guns, and then the option later to upgrade to two 20 millimeter cannons in the wings. Those 20 millimeter cannons carry over as an upgrade from the previous airframe to this one, and stock comes with two 20 millimeters in that are synchronized with the center line of the airframe, so they're coming out of the wing roots, in addition to having 7.92 machine guns that can be upgraded to 13 millimeter machine guns on the top of the airframe. So it's almost like an inverse. Instead of starting out with 7.92s and upgrading to have some extra 20s, you're actually going to start out with four 20s and then upgrade to get a better machine gun, better set of double machine guns. And since I did the 410 line, or I did the ME 410, I actually got these rockets automatically unlocked and the bombs carried over from the previous airframe. So you get to carry your four bombs that you had before, you get two rockets, you get four 20 millimeter cannons, and you start with two 13 millimeter machine guns. So you're already up on the damage performance. So this thing's not going to be hurting as bad as it was previously. And with the added capability of some air-to-ground ordnance, it's going to make this thing seem a little bit more like a true multi-role and a lot more fun to play. Now, none of the engines carry over. In fact, all of the engine upgrades are going to be specific to this airframe itself that are going to be the only way any of that will carry over. Now, I was shooting at some ground targets here, which I usually don't advocate, but there just isn't anything here yet, and I figured I'd help my allies out a little bit by trying to get rid of some of the anti-air platforms that were floating around here, literally in some cases, and help with the damage. But you can see this head-on pass. Granted, he nicked me and took out my engine here, but the amount of damage I did to that P-47 in a single pass was pretty impressive. Now, I thought that this was a bot just because it has a very bot-like name to it, but that's actually a player, Savari. So, just be aware when you see him again that we're going up against a player. I did not realize that, and I end up taking a ram from him later on. But the amount of damage coming out of this airframe, boom, we're allowed to take out we're able to take out a P-38F in a head-on run, which is pretty unprecedented. And since this is a multi-role platform, those bombs and rockets reload in about 60 seconds, so they come back relatively quickly, which allows you to be able to come back and do another air-to-ground run, which is nice to have available, although there's not much call for using that capability right now. Since it is a multi-role airframe, it is going to allow it to get a little bit more speed, which means being able to chase down an aircraft like this premium ME-209V4 is not going to be a difficult endeavor, especially since it is going to be a bot and he's going to be doing that straight kind of bot death roll, which allows me to be able to maintain tail chase on him relatively easily. I see an opportunity to gun down here and try to use some of my 20-second boost now that we have available to get in here to help capture this zone, maybe drop some bombs, use my two rockets, which are pretty substantial rockets by the way. But before I even get a chance to do that, it looks like the zone's already flipped, and now we have our ×3 multiplier for this attrition mode. So this being a stock video, pilot's at 90%, we're running with everything that was available from running the previous lines without purchasing any additional upgrades, and you can see we're already at a very decent gun performance. The engine performance is good enough to do what we need. Here is this ram I was talking about. I was not anticipating that he was going to do that. I thought it was a bot, so I figured he would have turned, but in this instance it looked like he went for it. And maybe he didn't ram me, maybe he just put out enough firepower to be able to kill me and it just took a minute for it to register, but it felt like a ram from my perspective. Alright, we're going to spawn back in here. We still have our air-to-ground loadouts, so I figure the best bet I can the best bet for me would be to try and use some of this air-to-ground ordnance to get a little bit more of those capture points, a little bit more air-to-ground damage, which is going to be helpful for me getting some of my experience multiplier boosted, since this is the ×2 since I just purchased this airframe. In fact, this video was made immediately after I did a video for the Focke-Wulf 190 A1 fully upgraded. So this is the same portion of the video from the cut screen at the beginning. I was just going to drop 2 bombs and see how it played out, but I figured I might as well just drop them all since I realized we're about to lose the center zone, and I didn't want to risk that not being captured. We did have a boomerang on our tail, but I figured I'd make him chase me up to high altitude. I am going to be able to maintain relatively decent speed. There's that firepower doing the work that we wanted it to do, coming up after this bow fighter, using our boost just to maintain a little bit of airspeed as we get outside of our envelope. We're going to level off because I know that he's going to turn at some point, so I can get my guns back up to assist, saving up a little bit of my boost. But our team managed to take him out. Now we have that ×4 multiplier we were after, which is a little bit of security considering I feel like we're going to lose the zone in the middle. Now I should have offloaded that other rocket earlier, but you can see here it's an 8. It looks like it's a 90-second respawn on the guns and rockets, so I take it back from earlier. We do have a player here. We're diving down at nearly 400 miles an hour. We kind of did a up and over turn as we passed on him in order to get behind him. And now we're going to try and chase down a P-40. Again, even with the stock engine and the external weapons armament, the bombs and rockets, we're still able to get up to a decent amount of speed and keep up with that P-40 in order to eliminate him from the battlefield. He's going to go back to the respawn queue. I'm glad we took this zone because not only did we lose the stronghold, but we also lost the garrison over on the other side of the map. My bombs are back, so I'm going to use these bombs to try and help out with taking out some of these ground sites. The faster you go, the tighter that reticle gets, so even downward angle helps a little bit as well, so you can see how small my reticle got for dropping those bombs. I'm dropping them on center of mass. And that managed to take out that one boat completely. It didn't manage to take out the first boat, but the second boat, it definitely worked out a lot better. My rockets are about to come back, and I think about launching them on this boat, but I realize that there's more aircraft coming in, and I still have 9 seconds on the reload. So I'm trying to find an opportunistic target, which one's going to pass by close. This is a player. It looks like he's pretty target fixated, so I put a good amount of damage into him. I think about moving on to another target, but it looks like I have a heavy on my tail, so I deviate from him. I go after this IL-2. Yes, I know the 109 is going to try and get around behind me, but if I can take out that aircraft, it helped flip the zone, which is what was most important at this point. So now we're back to a ×3 multiplier, and we still have a decent lead, so I am going to do my best to just help the team by killing some aircraft while we have the multiplier up, and you can see just pulsing this fire and using those 420s, we're able to rip apart that 0. Here's that P-40 again, diving pass, switching targets to the player. He doesn't see this coming. Get some damage on him. Looks like he is able to outturn us, which is no surprise since we are 13-second turn time. Kind of target switching here. That one is already taken out. We're doing an up and over. Oh, he's back on me again. I'm going to try and use my speed to get out of his line of fire, because that's one of the advantages that a multi-role has, right? Is the ability to burn out of an engagement they don't want to be in. It's harder to do against a light, high-altitude fighter, and you can see even with the boost going, we're burning some speed. I bring back the control surfaces so I can maneuver a little bit more, but I got him in a straight line, and he's getting chased by that other blue triangle, which is an ally. And it looks like my ally in the P-40, Rollo 49, thank you, ended up taking out that target for me. So you can be a distractor. If you are going to run in a way that is going to put the enemy at a massive disadvantage. So we took a few shots on that target, and now I'm just going to keep moving. It looks like he is distracted engaging other targets, so I'm going to double back and see if I can get my guns back on target, and no joy. Looks like my team took him out with the... what was that, Dracula 1 in his Spitfire Daimler Benz, which is the German premium variant of a Spitfire 5. A little bit unfair considering it's a Spitfire with altitude performance and the exact same characteristics as a normal Spit-5, so a little bit cheaty, but still a great airframe just because of the altitude performance and the general characteristics of how a Spitfire works. Now, that was intentional. I know we don't like ramming, but I'm okay with a 1-for-1 swap since we have the ×3 multiplier. He only has the ×2, and we were down to 6 points in order to finish off the match. So I just got the last of the last 2 kills. We managed to get the win and get the legendary winged legend here. So going to the end results screen, you can see that we earned quite a bit of experience points, 4,700 and some change. That is going to be with a ×2. Earned a decent amount of credits. Again, this is going to be non-premium, and we far outperformed even the best player on the other team, so not a bad match considering that this is a stock grind. But let's take a look at what stock is. This is what you get for stock. The guns come from the Focke-Wulf 190A, the machine guns came from the BF 109F. Yep, the rockets came from the ME 410, the bombs came from the 410E. So yeah, it's all there, guys. So as always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't like, and I'll catch you on the next one.